The United Arab Emirates is gaining importance as a financial centre for cross-border wealth. With me in the studio to speak about what makes the region attractive for businesses and for ultra-high net worth individuals, as well as for Swiss banks, is Deputy CEO Peter Albinsson from Neue Privat. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Jade. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we start talking about the Middle East and the United Arab Emirates, I'd like to talk a little bit about your clients. If we are looking at the current situation now and maybe more looking towards the future, how are you preparing for what's to come? And what do you say to clients to allay their fears?
Well, first of all, I would say clearly everybody would agree that currently we have some unprecedented challenges across the world. And I think they're twofold. You have the geopolitical risk that is increasing by the day. And then, of course, you also have the economic risks with recession risks and so forth. If we start from an investment perspective, as an investment house, our house view is very much that the worst is behind us. We will see geopolitical risks to continue to be elevated. And of course, that will mean that financial markets will continue to be volatile. Now, the key topics on everybody's minds would be the inflation and the recession, of course. And when it comes to inflation, what we believe is that it has peaked or is peaking, and that it will come down again, and it will remain at elevated levels. And with the recession, if you're looking particularly in the US, which is the key market here that everybody's looking at, we think any recession will be mild, and therefore also any spillover effects that investors may worry about should be manageable. Now, if we look at MPB as a business and the current environment, what I always say is that this is a great opportunity for us, because as a boutique bank, this is where we can really show how we are different. And there are probably three factors that contribute to this. And one is the quality of the advice that we're giving. The second one is the quality of services. And then the third is the speed of decision making. And I think what is encouraging is that we can see it also in our results. So our board of directors and our CEO, Dr. Markus Rufner, 2 years ago embarked on a growth strategy. And it's also interesting to note that that sort of coincided with the pandemic. So the crisis we're having now is kind of a continuation of what we saw before. And for the last 12 months, despite of this backdrop, we've been able to double our assets under management. And of course, that's on a high level. When it comes down to the individuals, what's really encouraging is we have onboarded relationship managers that are also then able to increase net new assets, onboard clients, despite everything that's happening in the world.
Okay, well, it's great to hear that we've got the worst behind us. Sticking perhaps on the individual level, like you say, with your clients, did you have to freeze accounts when sanctions were imposed on Russia? And I'd also like to ask if this had a consequence for your Eastern European clients. Of course, this depends very much on the political system they live in, but were some of them concerned that Switzerland was not neutral?
Well, so on the first part, when it comes to the Russian exposure, we have not had to freeze any Russian accounts due to sanctions. And maybe I should add to that to say that the Russian clients that we do have are predominantly residing in Switzerland or in the European Union or outside of Russia. And when it comes to the Eastern European question, I would say that so far we have not seen this. In fact, we actually seen demand for some Eastern European countries where people are still looking for safe haven for their wealth. And it perhaps comes down a little bit to the target clients that we are working with. We tend to work with entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, who are quite far removed from politics. And for them, Switzerland, what attracts them to Switzerland are the quality levels that we have, the stability, the rule of law, the government, etc. And that is very much still in full force and effect. So we see that. If you look at perhaps larger clients, so family offices or ultra high net worth individuals, there you might have different considerations. They would look at the geopolitical risk when they're selecting a booking center. And that would very much depend on the individual client as such. But again, from MPB, we have not seen that, and we're quite confident in the Swiss value proposition when we go out and speak to clients.
Okay, and looking back a year ago, you set up an office in Abu Dhabi. How's that business going?
It's going very well, and we got licensed in October, and we have now about 1.3 billion assets under management. We have a team of 3, and more encouraging is that we were able to reach profitability within 6 months. So that is very positive. And maybe to say something about why we selected Abu Dhabi and the UAE, and it is, I would say, twofold. One is that the UAE has really become a hub for wealth. So it's a cross-border booking center. It's the #1 cross-border booking center in the Middle East and the GCC, attracting clients not only from the GCC Middle East, but also from Africa and Southeast Asia. And then secondly, the GCC is growing, and it's growing rapidly. And the economic growth is really investment driven. So it's long-term secular growth. So you have investment into education, you have investment into infrastructure, you have investment into technology. And these are trends that we believe will continue. So that's why we also want to be present in this location.
Would you say there's something that the Swiss Financial Center can learn from looking at Dubai or Abu Dhabi?
Well, I think one positive aspect with our experience working with in particular the Abu Dhabi global markets is that they have dedicated business development teams. So it was a really straightforward and smooth licensing process. So you come there and they will help you navigate all of this. And I think that was overall a very positive experience.
Peter, it was a pleasure speaking to you today. Thank you for coming in. And thank you to you for watching finews TV.